Hello everyone and welcome back to Nerd Doc. The first episode of The Boys Season 3 is now available on Amazon Prime Video. This video breaks down the first episode, which means there will be spoilers for The Boys Season 3 Episode 1. If you do not wish to be spoiled, you can check out our spoiler-free review of the full season linked in the description below. You'll also find all of our other videos on The Boys, including our recap of the first 2 seasons if you need a quick refresher, as well as our coverage of the first 3 episodes and all future episodes as they release on Prime Video. There are chapter timestamps below, so you can jump around as you'd like, and if you have any questions about the first episode or Season 3 as a whole, leave a comment below and we'll try to answer them as best we can. If you're looking for the song that played during the credits and throughout the episode, it's Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. We can't play it here because of YouTube copyright, but you can find Spotify and YouTube links for the song in the description below. Episode 1 opens with a scene from the in-universe Dawn of the Seven movie. Charlize Theron is portraying Stormfront since the real Stormfront isn't healthy enough to act in the movie. Stormfront's big thing in Season 2 was the Aryan race and being a Nazi. While she didn't look very Aryan in Season 2, her appearance was changed to add dramatic effect in Dawn of the Seven, with Charlize Theron's character being blonde-haired and blue-eyed. There are also several Easter eggs found throughout this scene. You'll notice that the production company, Vought Studios, has a logo that looks almost identical to the Marvel Studios logo, a clear nod to Marvel, alongside the obvious DC nod from last season, with Dawn of the Seven referencing Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. There's also Vought Plus, which is a clear spin on Disney Plus, and the mention of releasing the Bork Cut, which is a reference to the Release the Snyder Cut campaign for Justice League, with Bork being the in-universe director of Dawn of the Seven. Ashley also mentions that Tony Gilroy had to reshoot Dawn of the Seven, which is a nod to the real Tony Gilroy famously reshooting most of Star Wars Rogue One. Fun Easter eggs aside, it's been about 1 year since the events of Season 2. Hughie is now working for Congresswoman Victoria Newman at the newly established Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, or FBSA. Hughie is no longer a direct part of the boys, but he still works with Butcher and his team. Butcher is now using an old bank as a base of operations with Frenchie and Kimiko, and he's seen here browsing Amazon, wink wink, looking for a present for Ryan. Butcher asks Hughie for permission to go after Termite, a soup that has the ability to shrink his body, similar to Ant-Man. Victoria and the FBSA have been working alongside Vought to cut superhero collateral damage by 60% over the last year, and part of the reason for that is Butcher's team bringing the worst offenders into custody or simply killing them. That's what he wanted to do with Termite, but Hughie denied him that, emphasizing that Termite cannot be killed. There's also a mysterious man named Tony who is asking to see Victoria but keeps calling her Nadia. More on him in a moment. Vought has developed a new version of Compound V called V24. It gives the subject superpowers, but only for 24 hours. It also hasn't been perfected yet as there are many negative side effects. Stan Edgar is trying to sell V24 to the military as a new revenue stream for Vought. Edgar knows he has to deal with Homelander and decides to make Starlight Co-Captain. He can control Starlight much easier, and she has the highest approval rating of any hero ever, which is a quick and easy excuse to give Homelander, who is upset about Ryan and Stormfront. Stormfront is still alive and being treated at Vought Tower. She's still in very bad condition, with most of her limbs severed, only one eye, and her body badly burned from the events at the end of Season 2. However, Stormfront still has a loyal following called the Storm Chasers, which the show sets up to be like a cross between white supremacy groups and K-pop stans. Loyal to the cause like K-pop stans, but with questionable values. Homelander still cares for Stormfront very much, but in typical Homelander fashion, he doesn't really show it. This causes Stormfront to be in a constant state of depression, but she hides it from Homelander. Queen Maeve has been secretly working with Butcher, feeding him intel on soups such as Termite so he can apprehend them. Maeve is visiting Butcher to tell him about Soldier Boy and his Payback team. In the comics, Payback was the number 2 team behind the Seven. However, in the show, Payback was essentially the original version of the Seven, existing long before the Seven were even a thing. In fact, the Seven basically replaced the Payback team. Soldier Boy reportedly died at a nuclear power plant, and Maeve thinks that the weapon that killed him can be used to kill Homelander, which is her primary goal. If you've seen trailers for Season 3, you know that something about that isn't quite accurate, but we'll get more into that as the season goes on. Maeve gives Butcher the V24 so he can safely approach the remaining members of Payback and get more intel on what happened to Soldier Boy. Later that night, Homelander visits Butcher and they have a discussion about going head-to-head with only one of them left standing, as both are frustrated with the way things are now. Homelander is basically a puppet for Vought and doesn't know where his son is, and Butcher is being ordered around by Hughie and the FBSA. Mother's Milk is a family man again, even though his wife is remarried to a guy named Todd, who is an avid Homelander supporter. Throughout the season, Todd is used as social commentary on Trump supporters, with Todd believing everything Homelander says without question. MM isn't completely out of the soup game though, as he's still keeping tabs on Soups and is reminded of how his family died, which has to do with Soldier Boy. The episode ends with Tony, an old acquaintance of Victoria's, confronting her about their past. They originally met at the Red River Group Home, which is the Vought-owned property for orphaned children with superpowers. Nadia, or rather Victoria, has close ties to Vought that started from the group home and will be explored in episode 2. Victoria kills Tony, while Hughie hides out of sight as the episode comes to an end. That wraps up our breakdown of The Boys Season 3, Episode 1. Once again, if you have any questions, leave a comment below, and don't forget to check out our breakdowns of the second and third episodes in the description below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves The Boys.